Patrick Hicks Music Stories presents Every Grammys Ever, the 36th Annual Grammy Awards, March 1st, 1994. 1993 is one of my favorite years in music. I think it's one of the best years ever, but you won't really see any of that in tonight's Grammys. We'll start off with Best New Artist, which has some respectable nominees. You got SWV, Diggable Planets, then some bands that I really like Belly and Blind Melon, but are such weird choices. Like, of all the great 90s alternative bands, Belly and Blind Melon are the two that you nominated for Best New Artist? Seems odd, but so are a lot of the Grammys choices this decade. But what's not odd is the winner in Best New Artist, Toni Braxton. Good winner. Then we get to Song of the Year. The winner is A Whole New World from Aladdin. And I can't totally articulate why I feel this way, but I don't think songs from animated movies should win Song of the Year. And if I was going to pick a song from an animated movie to win Song of the Year in the 90s, it wouldn't be A Whole New World. That's a good song, but it's not like the best Disney song of the whole decade.
A whole new world, that's where we'll be. That's where we'll be.
It just seems so random. This is not a collection of the best songs of 1993. It just feels like somebody was throwing darts at the Billboard chart. Also nominated was Billy Joel's The River of Dreams, the Meatloaf song I Would Do Anything for Love But I Won't Do That, that was pretty good, Sting's If I Ever Lose My Faith in You, and Neil Young's Harvest Moon. Now there is some redemption in Record of the Year because Meatloaf is not nominated in that category, and the song that is nominated is the winner, and that is Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. Now this is a Record of the Year winner. I mean, the song is from 1992, but I'll cut them some slack for that. Although it is a shame that Dolly Parton doesn't get nominated in Song of the Year as the songwriter of this song. And that's because they actually changed the rules by this point in the Grammys. You used to see this all the time, that songs from decades ago could still get nominated for Song of the Year, and the songwriter, even if they were super old or dead, could still win. But what happened is in that Natalie Cole Grammys, the one that was 4 hours long and everybody hated, the first award was Song of the Year, and it went to the super old writer of Unforgettable. And he went out there and gave a long rambling speech, and they thought, we don't want that to happen again, so they changed the rules. Speaking of rambling old guys, one of the most memorable moments of the night, but not in a good way, was when Frank Sinatra was given a Legend Award. It's pretty surprising that he hadn't gotten one by now, since he's not only one of the most important musical artists of the century, but so fundamental to the early Grammys. But he's given the award by Bono, and he's talking, he's giving a speech, but apparently he's kind of losing his train of thought. He's getting kind of lost out there. So backstage, the producers are watching, and one of Frank Sinatra's people said, "Cut him off." So they go to play the cut-off music, although right at that moment is when Frank kind of regains his composure and starts talking again, so it looks like he's really rudely cut off. Then, before the producers get a chance to say anything to host Gary Shandling, he comes out after the commercial break and says, if I was one of the producers, I wouldn't have cut off Frank Sinatra. Which made the actual producer of the show, Ken Ehrlich, so mad that he vowed Gary Shandling would never host the Grammys again, which he didn't. Some other memorable moments of the night: Dr. Dre wins his first Grammy in the Best Rap Performance category for Let Me Ride, and Selena gets her first Grammy nomination and win in the category Best Mexican American Album for her album Live. This is her only win. She gets nominated again next year but loses to 1963's Best New Artist nominee Vicky Carr. And those would be Selena's only two nominations. She was killed in 1995, but she did get a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2021. Now here are the nominees for Album of the Year. There are 2 good ones and 3 ridiculous ones. R.E.M. is back for the second year in a row with their album Automatic for the People. The Grammys have basically decided that R.E.M. will represent all of alternative music. Of course, the Bodyguard soundtrack is nominated, and then you've got 3 choices that only the Grammys in the 90s could have made. Sting for the album 10 Summoner's Tales, Billy Joel for River of Dreams, and Donald Fagen of Steely Dan gets another solo nomination for Kamakiriad. Now here are the other albums in 1993 that were not nominated. You've got the Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream. Easily one of the best albums of the entire decade. It does get 2 nominations tonight. The album is nominated in Best Alternative, and the song Cherub Rock is nominated in Best Hard Rock. You've also got Nirvana's follow-up In Utero, a chance for the Grammys to get some redemption for blowing it with Nevermind. Instead, it only gets one nomination, Best Alternative Album, and both Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins lost in that category to U2's album Zooropa. How quickly a band at the Grammys can go from being snubbed to doing the snubbing. Let's keep going. We've got Liz Phair's Exile in Guyville, Bjork's Debut, The Breeders' Last Splash, The Cranberries. Now are you starting to see why Belly and Blind Melon seem like such random choices for Best New Artist? You also saw some all-time hip-hop classics. Enter the Wu-Tang by Wu-Tang, Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest. They still have not got a Grammy nomination. That's the third classic album from them in 4 years that gets no nominations. They actually only have 4 nominations and 0 wins in their entire career. And finally, you have the Janet Jackson album, Janet. She must have done something when she was nominated for Control where they decided we're never nominating her again. And the Album of the Year winner is...
The Bodyguard, original soundtrack album, Whitney Houston.
The Bodyguard soundtrack. Alright, the Grammys made the right choice here, but I feel like they lucked into this one. They got the right result with the totally wrong way to get there. But this is an all-timer. It's got I Will Always Love You, I Have Nothing, I'm Every Woman. It's the best-selling soundtrack of all time, one of the best-selling albums of all time. It sold like 45 million copies worldwide. It's at the sweet spot of commercial and critical success. If I think about the 90s, it is one of the albums that I think of. It's exactly the kind of album that should win Album of the Year. It just would have been nice if it was nominated along with Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, and A Tribe Called Quest. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time for the 37th annual Grammys in 1995.
I have nothing.